I am going to put together just a quick sway to show you how to start adding content. There's a lot of different things that you can do and different ways that you can organize your sway, but what it comes down to is just really how you would like it to look and what type of content you're looking to add. So I'm going to base this off of, I'm a previous language arts teacher, so I'm going to title mine Charge of the Light Brigade. It's a poem by Lord Alfred Tennyson, so I'm going to do a sway on the background of that poem. So as you can see, when you start a new sway, you begin here and you just start with your title. Charge of the Light Brigade by Lord Alfred Tennyson. And because this is a title, I am going to have it emphasize those words, and I'm going to select a background for my title. Now, whenever you are adding content, it has the suggested content for you, which is just great because you can really get everything you need from this suggested content. So I'm going to look down till I find a picture, and I'm going to add it as my background. So you can see, because at any time you can preview what your sway will look like. So if I go up here to play, you can see this is what my title for my sway will look like so far. Anytime you want to go back to edit, you just click on the pencil right here. Okay, so I'm going to start adding content. So to add content, I would add another card, and to add another card, I click on this plus right here. So I'm going to add some text. And I decided for this text I'm going to just include a link to a Wikipedia article that gives the background of what is the Charge of the Light Brigade, because knowing the background really would help readers understand the poem better. So I'm going to create a hyperlink, and I'm going to put what was the Charge of the Light Brigade. And then I have to add my web link, and I'm going to go over here and copy and paste that back into here. And so in this way, that'll just be a link to that content. Now I'm going to keep adding. So after adding, the background of it, I'm going to obviously add the text of the poem. So I'm going to add I'm going to add a heading first. Sorry, I'm going to add a heading that just says this is the poem. And I can add a background again, Charge of the Light Brigade. I like this one. I'm going to add it. And from here, I'm going to add the text of the poem, and I have that on a Word document. So as you can see, I'm kind of going and getting my information just from different areas. You can have the text ready on a Word document and copy and paste it. You could always just type it. However you want to have that text ready to put into your sway. So then I would paste that into there. And now I have my poem in there. And because I'm just really doing a lot of background about this poem, I'm going to add some media. And I think I can probably find a video about this. And here I do. And when I clicked on video, it had some suggestions. Here's an animated history. I could add that. And I would preview, obviously, videos before they just add them. So you just want to, work with your students that say, if you're going to add this, you need to make sure you preview it before you add it. So again, I'm going to preview my sway right now just to make sure it's kind of looking how I would like it to look. And again, to go preview, I go up here to play. And I'm going to start at the beginning. And to go to the next content card, I'm going to click on this arrow. You can see if I were watching the sway as a visitor, I would click on this link and go there. And then here's what's my heading, the poem. And here's the poem text. And then it would go to this. Now, if this were the animated history, it's probably in the wrong spot. So I'm going to go back to edit. I'm going to exit that. I got to get back to the edit here. There it is. And I would like to move this. So I can move this entire card just by dragging it up. So maybe after reading the Wikipedia article, they may need some clarification still. So I'm going to add that back here. Now, I didn't really like how my sway played out, so I might want to change the design. So I'm going to move from my storyline, which is kind of my outline of my content, over to design. And then I'm going to click on style. Now they do have this option that you can remix your sway. It just kind of gives you a random option. Now you can see here that you can have your content move vertically, horizontally, or by slides. I like the vertical, so I'm going to select that. And then you can select all of these different font and just different styles. So I'm going to come down here, and I kind of like this one. So I'm going to select that. Ooh, I liked how that changed that font. And when you're all done, you head back to storyline and you hit play again just to see if it works out the way. So I definitely like that it scrolls vertically now. So I have my title and my background. I have my link here. I have the video that explains it further. I have my heading. I really like how this is looking. So Sway is really easy to use. It's really just adding content, finding content, and then organizing it in the best way for your audience. And so I really see younger students that you can really just have them focus on being consistent in their content. So, you know, when you're thinking about the 6+1 traits of writing, focusing on the same idea, focusing on organization. So not so much that they're coming up with their own content or that they're writing their own paragraphs, but really just that they understand how to stay focused on content. So if they're talking about polar bears, having them create a sway about polar bears and staying focused and staying organized. You know, when you're talking about polar bears, you don't go off on a tangent and talk about killer whales. You stay focused. You talk about habitat and then diet. So that would be an example for younger students. Whereas when you get into older students, you definitely want them writing their own content. Yes, you can pull in media and images and videos from other sources, but that they are doing some of the writing on their own. One thing I did want to point out is that when you use a picture, so if I came down here and added another picture, you can select a focus point for that picture. So I'm going to add another image. I'm going to find one here. I'm going to add the image, and if I select it, I can choose a focus point of this image. So I can move that kind of, I want to focus on just the cavalry. And to do that, so now when I play, again, here's the rest of it. It'll focus in on the cavalry. And it didn't zoom in very much, and I think I must have missed a setting. So I'm going to go back to editing. And what it really is, I think it just centered on that, and because it was already the center of the image, that didn't really change anything. But if I move it over here, Okay, so it just kind of changes depending on where you put that focus point. So if you only, if you did what I did and put your focus point right in the middle, it's not really going to change. But if I change the focus to him, it did kind of cut off the bottom of the picture a little bit and changed a little. So you can use focus points that way. So that's just the basics of getting started with Sway and how to add content cards to your storyline, which again is your outline of your Sway basically, and just some of the different options that you can just add all kinds of stuff.